of the aisle. I'm so curious to see what's going to happen this next week with her coming out saying
Oh,
this.
we know what's going to happen. They're going to celebrate that it happened to her. It's the same way they treat Sarah Huckabee. It's the same way they treat Ivanka. It doesn't matter what happens to our side.
Yeah, and these are all smart, super educated women. It's going to be. I don't know. I mean, obviously she was brave to come out with this, and I mean, my heart definitely. I felt for her.
Yes.
But I think that's what's happening is everybody now is everybody's putting it out on the table. I just hope that everybody that does this, that it's true. I mean, Ann Coulter's had some hysterical tweets. I mean, she wrote, "Further proof of Kavanaugh's disqualifying arrogance. Throughout this process, he has stubbornly insisted on remaining white and male."
He's the patriarchy. That's right. You have to take him down because he's a white man. He can't be successful.
Which is so sad because I know so many men of every color, and all of them are working hard. I'm not looking at them as a white male or a Hispanic male or a black male. I'm looking at them that they're delivering.
I think you and I, having been in the Air Force, we don't necessarily divide everybody up into that.
We don't.
All these categories. This identity politics.
It's purple to me, Barney purple. I've always said that, and it's just, we're not like these people are acting. Oh, and then I love this tweet that Ann Coulter said. "I respectfully suggest we replace the United States Senate with the first 100 people in line at Disney World tomorrow." So
we'd probably get better representation.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. Well, because we still need 50 votes for Kavanaugh to make it. And I know I sent emails to Senator Murkowski of Alaska and then Senator Collins of from Maine, and I said you need to vote this way because those are two women that are potentially on the fence. So, and they're not in jeopardy of any election this year, anyways, either.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why they're, not committing yet. They're not really in jeopardy, so they can, play that game. And because if they were in jeopardy, they'd probably be voting for him.
Yeah. Well, and that was the funny thing in the 60-minute interview. The guy asked Flake if, would you be doing this if you were running again? And he's like, no, because, nobody would vote for him after this stunt.
Oh, my. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So what he really just admitted to was, getting reelected is more important than doing the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because if he thinks he's doing the right thing right now, he wouldn't have done that if he was going to get reelected. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? That's just hypocrisy.
Well, and one nice thing I heard was that President George Bush has been calling people, and so has Condoleezza Rice, because Judge Kavanaugh worked for President Bush, so I think he knows he's a good man. So they've been making phone calls on his behalf. So hopefully that helps.
Didn't President Bush appoint him?
Yeah,
to his current position? Yeah.
Yes, that too. Yes,
mm-hmm.
Yes. And then the 60 Minutes is so damn liberal, and so the reporter was like, "Would you vote for Kavanaugh?" And I don't know. That Coons is not gonna. The Democrats not gonna vote for
They're
Kavanaugh
not going to vote
if he
for
comes
him
out
no matter
with a
what.
clean slate here by the end of the week. So there's no way. And so they don't ever ask those hard questions. It's like the Dems get off. They're never asked the hard questions at all. It's so frustrating to me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I'm not even sure that some of our, more conservative news outlets are even asking the hard questions anymore.
Well, they hired the woman to ask. She was from Arizona, and it was a sex she was in the courtroom asking questions to people in the sex world part of the court system, and she was so gentle with her, and again didn't ask those hard questions, and then I think the Republicans got tired of her, and they're like, okay.
And that's when Lindsey Graham took off. I think, though, she had a very fine line to tread, because if she was seen as too aggressive, that would have been a bad thing too. But did you see where she told the Republicans the next day that there was no way she'd prosecute him?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, she told them there's no evidence, it's totally uncorroborated, there's no witnesses. She'd never bring that case to trial. And she's a very experienced prosecutor. Good.
Well, and that's how I feel. Where is the evidence? And again, where was the house? Who drove her? Who picked her up? Was she drinking? Nobody ever has asked her that question.
And you're a little younger than I am. I'm the same age as them. Back in the 80s, what was considered sexual assault probably had a very different meaning than it does now. And I'm certainly not trying to excuse anything, but, where is it kids being just totally stupid to each other? Yeah. And a friend of mine actually said, and she's more of a liberal, and she does believe Dr. Ford. She said, "Where's forgiveness in this whole equation? We were all stupid. We all acted stupid to each other." Well, I'm paraphrasing what she said, but our whole concept of all of these things are changing, and the whole notion of consent is much stricter than it used to be. And that's not necessarily bad, but it does make things complicated.
Right. Well, I don't know. The whole thing is, I think too, when you think about this woman coming forward and then looking at Anita Hill, what happened with Anita Hill, and Clarence Thomas was confirmed, has been on a Supreme Court for 30 plus years. This woman is going to end up with a book deal. She's going to end up being, they already think she's a hero, because Feinstein was like, "Oh, you're a hero." How many times did we hear people that day, tell her how brave she was? She's a hero. She's going to be on some circuit now speaking for the next 30 years, and making money off of this.
In that stupid little voice.
I'm trying to pull up as we're chatting the Rosie O'Donnell tweets, because you sent me a couple, and I was like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah, she's vile. She was absolutely vile.
She is just, we know why President Trump hates her, because if you go to her Twitter page that I can't seem to pull up, it's just. Do you want to go ahead and talk about that? She went after
you talking about the article that's from Breitbart that I sent you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I had no idea. Okay, so first of all, I didn't even know that Lindsey Graham had been in the Air Force and that he was a colonel when he retired as a reservist. So, I'm very uninformed about him. But then I guess he's never been married, which I didn't realize either. So there's rumors that he is gay. Well, okay, whatever.
Whatever.
He's a Southern gentleman from a certain time. Perhaps he is, and he's just decided not to talk about it. I honestly don't know. But then once he had his tirade, which I absolutely love, that was his Spartacus moment. I'll call him Spartacus. But she came unhinged and called him a closeted something or other, and then Kathy Griffin called him Miss Lindsey Graham, and then somebody said he was missing his boyfriend, meaning McCain. Jimmy Kimmel was part of it.
How is that okay?
It's not
okay? How?
It's not.
Can you imagine if our side of the aisle said any of this stuff?
Immediate condemnation. But again, it's the same thing as with Kellyanne. Kellyanne is a victim of sexual assault of some sort. They won't be the least bit sympathetic to her. But it's okay to be homophobic about Lindsey Graham.
Right.
Come on. Where did this I keep saying the wrong word. Where did all this hypocrisy come from? It's just amazing to me that these people think that saying that kind of thing to anyone is okay. I don't care who you are. You don't say stuff like that to somebody.
Well,
it's hateful.
Again, Lindsey Graham's speech was awesome,
Yes.
And I so passionate, and finally somebody was on Kavanaugh's side. So I love
they called
it.
Feinstein out. But did you also notice that he said these have been my friends? Like he's not very happy with them and he's not going to be friends with them anymore?
Good.
I thought that was just interesting.
He better cut that damn cord.
Yeah, right?
But Rosie O'Donnell, I mean, oh gosh.
Yeah, she's very hateful. She's very hateful.
And it was just hate speech to
Yes,
Lindsey Graham.
yes.
And again, who cares if he's gay? I don't care. Press on, people.
It makes no difference to
Finally,
how he's done his job, I'm pretty sure.
For his speech the other day.
I know. I loved that speech. I was so happy.
And then Kanye was on Saturday Night Live, wore his Make America Great hat again, and of course people freaked out. Chris Rock was posting on his Twitter, they cannot stand Kanye, and Kanye brought up the point that that black people, the Democrats, are who took the fathers out of the homes through welfare, and that's true. When you read up about that, so he made that point, and I guess got booed. Plus he had his hat on. So,
well, I'm not, and I'm not particularly a Kanye fan. I couldn't tell you a song he sings. It's not like
Gold digger.
But I love that he's saying what he thinks.
I know. So what? And it's a true statement about. That's so many black children don't have fathers. I think the stats like up to 70%. Oh, and then the best thing was Rasmussen came out with a poll too, because right now it's the lowest unemployment rate ever for African Americans, and I'm trying to find that stat I have here. But the point was that blacks before weren't pro-Trump, and now that the numbers
are climbing.
Growing. Yes, I think it's like 30% of African Americans now are okay with Trump, and that was a Rasmussen poll.
Number.
Yes, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to find my number here, but so that's the other thing. Nobody wants to discuss that,
Nope.
Let's keep that in the closet. Okay. Yeah, black Trump approval used to be 18%, and it's up to 36% per the Rasmussen poll. 36%.
Yeah, that's double. That is hugely significant.
Well, all Americans want to have a job, so this is good news. Again, that people want to suppress. So, and then I read a really interesting article from the Washington Times about Melania Trump. She was a supermodel. The woman is she could wear a trash bag and it would be hip.
Yes.
I wish I could do that. But
I wish I looked like her at her age. I'm only a couple of years older than her. I don't look like her.
Oh, I mean, she's just gorgeous. She's so gorgeous. But the article talked about how, her husband's been in office 20 months, and she hasn't even been on one stinking cover of a magazine. A supermodel that has done this her whole life, hasn't been on a Glamour, hasn't been on a Vogue, hasn't been on a InStyle magazine, and she's gorgeous. And normally media, even Laura Bush was on magazine covers.
Yeah, true.
Good Housekeeping and things. So, and Michelle Obama's been in Vogue. She's been on Oprah, Essence, Redbook, Cooking Light, Glamour. And it just makes me so angry that Melania Trump has not been on a cover of a magazine.
I wonder if there's any part of that that's her choice. You know what I mean? Because I know that she seems to be somewhat private, and likes to be a mom. But still.
But a model's still a model.
It doesn't make sense to me. She could be on Parenting magazine, for goodness sake.
Well, the big point of the article is why would they allow her to be on a cover? Because if you like Melania and get to know her, then you approve of the one good thing that Trump has done, married Melania Trump.
And I have liberal friends who love Melania.
Article. She's gorgeous.
I have liberal friends who love Melania. They think she's wonderful. So
well, and
I think that's
she has stepped into the ring when it came to the children and immigration.